Okay, so it is other people's responsibility to make you feel emotionally safe.
I say when there is not full disclosure of the plan of what's going to be done to me psychologically, then that is the responsibility of the person who's manipulating me.
It's really funny that you say that, because this actually is just deterring responsibility to the second party, right? So you're saying...
Yes, you guys are more powerful than I am as far as damaging me psychologically, because we live in a society that has normalized the manipulation of women and their vulnerability emotionally. So I believe that you partook in that same essentially tactic of getting from me what you wanted.
I actually disagree with this woman in the green, and I don't know if I could disagree with her anymore. I damn near dare say, it's the very opposite. In America in 2024, we've gotten to the point where we're willing to compromise our necessary infrastructure for the sake of female emotions, just so women can feel included in these infrastructures. For example, the military. The military is a foundational infrastructure. You need a military in order to have a society. There's no point in having a society or a civilization if you don't have a strong military that's capable of protecting that society from outward forces. There's no point. So it's foundational. And in America in 2024, we're compromising our military's ability to protect its people. We're lowering our standard just to include women. And there's no reason to do this outside of women just feeling included or feeling like they're just as capable as men. There's no scientific evidence that says that the average woman is just as capable as the average man of fulfilling the necessary duties in the military. In fact, the science says the opposite. But again, we'll lower our standards of our military's ability to protect our society for the sake of pandering to female emotion. So I can't disagree with her anymore. And when she says that society is driven off of manipulating women emotionally, I disagree with that too. I think the society cares far more about women being emotionally manipulated than men. For example, I was watching a documentary yesterday on Vice, and it was about pay pigs. Now, I never even heard of this before. This is absolutely alien to me, and I'll put an official definition here on the screen if y'all want the Google definition of a pay pig. But what it seemed like for me in watching the documentary is it's just a bunch of guys that either they have like some type of social issues when it comes to women, they have some type of internal issues, childhood trauma, as some would say, but they basically pay these women to shame and humiliate them.
My feet? Both. Good boys. Up. Every time I say good boys, I want to hear thank you, Mr. Smiley.
Yes, Mr. Smiley. Thank you, Mr. Smiley.
Back down. I want you to compliment me. You have 10 seconds. Go.
Mr. Smiley, you are the light of everything we do.
10 seconds. Keep going.
And we will serve you as you require us to.
You still have 2 more seconds.
Thank you for letting us serve you.
Back down. Do better than him.
Oh, Mr. Smiley, you exude light and beauty and power and goddess-like energy, and thank you for allowing me to worship and to be in your presence.
Way better. Get up. He did better.
So BDSM in general.
A tribute is what a sub gives you just for initiating conversation or just for like showing appreciation. And it can range from like $20 to $100 just in a single tribute. We call a lot of subs in this realm pigs or piggies. So my content is not always, oh, I'm in my leather and latex and send me money loser and things of that nature. It's a big part of it. But a lot of it too is just me being normal, out having drinks with my friends. Subs like to see that too. They like to send money when I'm out having drinks. Like, oh, drinks on me.
And what I found interesting during the documentary is they didn't ask any difficult questions. They didn't ask these women, how do you feel about taking advantage of these men morally? They didn't ask them any questions about the ethics and what they're involved in. Because I personally believe that if a man is giving you his money so that you can shame and humiliate him, he probably has some type of mental illness that you're exploiting openly. But they just showed the women as brave, and this is some type of new love. The women are brave for going out and taking advantage of these men, and the men are just stupid. When men get emotionally manipulated, they're just called dumb. Because the opposite of a pay pig, we have it in our society. It's called a pimp. That's what they pimping. That's essentially what it is. But if a man were to do that to a woman for his own financial gain, he'd be put under the jail. But these ladies who are manipulating these men emotionally for the sake of their money, shaming, humiliating them, they're just seen as brave and bold. So I think it's the very opposite. Heck, if you want to be a pay pig, just go get married. go get you a wife. You want to give your money to a woman that's going to spend it on miscellaneous bullshit? Be a work slave? Just go get married. Hell, that's the same thing. No, I'm bullshit. I actually don't believe that. But I think it's funny. Like, I think that society, by and large, by far, cares more about a woman being taken advantage of than a man, especially emotionally. When a woman takes advantage of a man emotionally for the sake of money, they're called brave. When a man does that, you get an entire miniseries on Netflix called The Tinder Swindler.
I'm going to just like grant a couple things, right? Thing one.
I have to go to the bathroom first, and then when I come back, you can share.
Okay.
How many shots did you guys have? You had one shot?
This is my third shot.
Maybe don't. Maybe the alcohol is not a good idea.
Well, if you guys were nice, I wouldn't need it.
If we were nice, she wouldn't
If you
need.
guys were nice.
We've been-
This is the exact type of woman that'll cheat on you, by the way, too. Yeah, these people who believe that they're not in control of their own emotions, and if you do something that hurts their emotions, you're the bad guy. These are the type of people that'll cheat on you. I cheated on you because you didn't make me feel heard. I cheated on you because I felt like you weren't paying enough attention to me because you were at work. You shouldn't have done this to me to make me do this. I'm drinking because you guys aren't nice. I cheated because you weren't there. These are the same type of people I'm telling you that will do things like that to you and justify it based on their emotionality. She believes that she has no control over her emotions. So anything you inflict on her to make her emotions change is you doing wrong. So she can do anything in response to you doing wrong. That's why this type of mentality is dangerous.
been nice.
I think you guys are nice.
We've been nice.
Really, people in general.
You want passive aggressiveness. I would rather you just say exactly what you're
I was just about to tell you exactly what I thought, but then you had to pee.
I did.
We're gonna.
I've had a lot of children.
We will get in future episodes funnels onto the table for people so they don't have to get.
So yeah, I mean, I was just about to grant to you. Yeah, I don't care about how what I say makes a person emotionally feel if the purpose of the discussion is a disagreement. How your emotional state from there is totally irrelevant to me.
Do you know that that's a symptom?
Oh,
Of
here
what?
comes the psychology majors.
Psychopathy.
Psychopathy doesn't exist.
It does.
It doesn't.
It's the lack of empathy for another's
Nope.
feelings.
Okay, so you're a psychologist, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that psychopathy is actually a medical psychological condition and that you can identify it in the
Yes.
DSM?
Yes, they can now brain scan you and tell if you have psychopathy.
Do you have your phone?
Yes.
Okay, can you pull up the DSM-5 and show me where it says anything about psychopathy?
I'm not talking about the DSM-5. I'm talking
Well,
about
then how do you categorize what is a psychological condition?
you can get a brain scan and your gray matter would show up differently than somebody without psychopathy.
That, first of all, when you're talking about brain scans, that's really brand new tech. That's the same thing as when people say that you can do a brain scan to determine a gender. You really can't because you have human
Correct.
variances in
the
sexuality.
gender is determined more by the hormonal makeup in the
brain
body
matter
system.
cannot determine if somebody is a psychopath, but even if it could, psychopathy in and of itself has not even been demonstrated to be harmful to society. Psychopathy in and of itself could be a boon to society. For instance, you may need people who have completely unfeeling dispositions for certain jobs which need doing.
There's a theory about this. Like the person who is always the executioner, they say that those people are far more likely to be psychopathic. But they say it's necessary for people in society to be psychopathic because you need people that are capable of doing tough jobs without having the emotional burden that most people might feel when doing those jobs. For example, the executioner. He has to kill people every day and go home and live a regular, normal life. You know how hard that is to do as a human? Even if the person is guilty or the person may have done something wrong. It's hard to be able to kill somebody and then just go eat dinner. This was an issue in the military, too, when they were talking about Navy SEALs. There was a Navy SEAL coach that spoke about it on something that I seen. And he was saying, you got to learn how to deal with psychopaths because this job requires you to be a psychopath. You can't just do this job as a normal human being. And so I understand what he's saying in terms of certain jobs being like psychopathy being necessary for certain jobs. And also they found that most psychopaths never act on their psychopathy. Like just because you don't feel the normal human emotions doesn't mean that you want to go out and inflict damage on other people. Like most psychopaths are just hanging out. Like they just live their regular lives. Most psychopaths aren't actually killers. So I see what he's saying.
I agree, because we are all tools, essentially, of the divine.
Well, I mean,
God.
sure,
You
yeah.
would, you, in your
Yeah, I would
ideology,
say-
you would call it God.
Yeah, I would say that we're all definitely in
I agree.
have a
there's
telos from our
there's where our
creator.
Venn diagrams are crossing.
But
I believe we
need
are all tools.
But I need to ask, just because I don't care what your emotional state is when we're having a discussion about something we disagree on, I don't understand why that would even indicate psychopathy. It's very common for stoic men to not care about the emotional status of a person who refuses to adhere
It's
to
very
logic.
common of men to be abusive. It doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, but now you're conflating two different things. So I would agree.
Psychopathic individuals are abusive.
Well, now you got to explain why the chances of a woman being abused in a lesbian relationship is double that of a normal relationship. And that lesbian statistic really destroyed a lot of female arguments when it came to abuse. Because lesbian relationships, a woman is 2 times more likely to deal with abuse. So if she's saying that just male abuse towards women is run rampant and there's nobody doing anything about it, that's just not true by and large. And in relationships, women are far more likely to be abusive towards other women when in relationship with women. And when you talk about abuse statistics, you find that oftentimes on the male end, abuse is almost never reported. So generally speaking, in these abusive relationships, and I'm just talking about the numbers here, don't call me the bad guy. I'm just saying that generally in these domestic violence situation, the woman is it's mutual combat. The woman is actively involved in domestic violence too, meaning she'll go upside his head just like he'll go upside her head. But when he goes upside her head, she's far more likely to report it than when he just takes it and just goes on about his life.
A paper that John Archer, a psychologist in England, published in the year 2000, where he looked at 64 surveys that had been done of general populations, asking about how they resolve conflict in their family, and found some very startling results, startling at that time anyway. The results that he found was that women were more likely to be perpetrators of domestic violence, or sometimes called intimate partner violence, than were men. It was not a large difference, but it was a substantial difference nevertheless, and shocking to people who had this preconceived notion that all domestic violence was male perpetrated. That's not what Archer was finding. In fact, if you use a statistic called the D prime, which looks at the distribution of injuries for women and distribution of injuries for men, you find that these two distributions almost overlap. Women are just slightly more likely to be injured, 0.05, a 20th of a standard deviation. In other words, not very much, even if you're not statistically oriented. And again, that's kind of shocking because we think of women as primary victims, in some cases sole victims of domestic violence. That's not what the data tell us.
And if you're a man, I don't even need that to explain that to you because you know how you react if you were to be hit by a woman. You wouldn't go and report it to the police. You would damn near be made fun of for doing that. So you just kind of take it and you allow it to happen. Whilst if a man were to ever do that to a woman, it would be reported. So male violence in terms of women committing violence against men is heavily underreported. Almost never reported, I dare say. And in my own personal life, I dare say too, I've seen more women be physically violent towards men than I have men be physically violent towards women. That's just the truth. That's my perspective right there.
All abusive
it's
people are
been
psychopaths.
True. That's true. Some of them are narcissistic.
Yeah, but not all abusive people are narcissists.
Some of them are just trauma responding and they overreact.
Not all of them are doing that either. Yeah, abuse.
Name a type of abuse that
from
somebody.
you is so broad that encompasses everything. Encompasses emotional,
it's the degradation.
physical, psychological.
It's the degradation. It's the calculated degradation of another individual without remorse, feeling, or care. It's not a trauma response, in other words. Now, what you saw of me in the last show was me trauma responding. So I did hurt people's feelings, and I said things that were, you could say...
Yeah. Well, so basically now what she's saying is, when I do it, it's because I've had childhood trauma. But when you do it, it's because you're narcissistic and you have some type of ill will towards me.
You could say abusive. But I have very complex traumas. I could spend
but isn't it
a lot of time telling you
But
about
isn't
it.
it awful convenient to say, when I do it, it's excused. When you do it, it's because you're a psychopath.
Right.
Well, to be honest with you, you're a predator. I'm not.
Well, you're not a predator?
No.
What makes me predatory and you not predatory?
go out seeking to hurt people. You do.
Who do I go out to seek to hurt?
Me.
How did I seek to hurt you?
You are seeking
See?
to
He thinks he
show
did it on
the
purpose.
followers that I am basically not worth living, not worth speaking, not worth breathing.
What are you talking about?
Not worth having an.
And see, this is the issue. These are all her internal interpretations of what he said, even though that's not what he meant to say at all. So she thinks that he's saying these things in order to be psychopathic to hurt her, when really she doesn't understand that really she's just internalizing, or I don't even want to say internalizing, because even saying that word just makes me feel disgusting. But she's perceiving it as if he's trying to hurt her, when really he's just having a conversation.
An opinion. My opinion.
Well, if your opinion is bad, then yes, your opinion. So, look at
You are a very condescending person.
Try to juxtapose yourself. Put yourself in my shoes for a second. Okay, let us assume for a second that I had some knowledge. So
I
hang
was
on.
raised by your type.
Assume for a second.
God.
Well, they didn't raise you right, but assume for a
No,
second.
I just diverted to something else.
Okay, so anyway, back to this real quick. I was in the middle of talking. It's awful abusive of you to cut me off while I'm speaking.
It is.
I'm speaking.
I'm just giving you back your own medicine.
I'm speaking.
I'm giving you
I'm
back your own
speaking.
medicine. I don't respect you.
I'm speaking.
I don't respect you.
That's
I'm
kind of her
speaking.
mentality.
I don't respect your
I'm not
thought
wrong for being
process.
So
abusive
anyway-
because you
I
were.
literally don't
So
respect
back,
your thought
I don't.
process.
Who cares what you respect?
Who cares what you respect?
I mean, do you want to
Why
have
should
the
I care
convo
about
or
you
not?
if
You're
you
just
don't give
gonna
a
cut
shit
in?
about me? I don't give a
You're
shit
just
about
gonna
you.
cut in while we're
If you
trying to
don't,
talk?
yes, if you don't give a shit about me, I'm going to show you what it feels like to have somebody not give a shit about you. But I'm not going to gaslight you and pretend like I give a shit. I'm just going to tell you I don't give a shit about your
So
type.
then there's the difference between
I don't
the
give
two
a
of
shit
us.
about you. You're a piece of. You're
Difference
only
between the
here
two of
because
us
your sex life sucks.
is I actually
do you
want
want to go there? Do
Yeah,
you wanna
go there. You're only here because you children.
Okay. I thought we weren't going to talk about
I
that.
thought, Bo, hang on. You can dish it out, but you can't take it.
I gave you explicit boundaries that you were
And
not
I just
supposed to
broke your
cross.
boundaries because I don't give a shit. Because I don't give a.
You didn't give me boundaries. Get your wife on the phone.
What would you like to talk to her about?
I would like to ask her how the sex is.
Okay.
Wait, that's correct. Come on, let's.
I really would.
That's abuse. Abuse. She's abusive. She's a psychopath. She's manipulative. She's a narcissist. I actually can't stand this archetype of person in the real world. Like, we all know this person. This is every school teacher you've ever had. The person whose eyebrows is always up like this, and their head's tilted to the side, and they nod as you talk because they know the truth and you don't, so they can just be condescending to every point that you make. Regardless of how valid it is, they're just going to have their eyebrows up and their lips like this and nod as if you're a child. I can't stand this archetype of person. These are the people that go to school for 4 years and get a degree in psychology, and now they think that they can diagnose everybody around them. And by the way, TikTok made this issue bad. It exacerbated this issue by far. When TikTok came out, I remember it. You had regular women starting to diagnose people on psychopathy and narcissism. Regular women that don't know anything about these topics. And the funniest part about these types of people is they're the same people that will allow bad people into their lives. So they can tell you everything about people mentally, but they can't monitor the bad people that are coming into their lives. Brenda, if you're so good at psychology, why do you keep complaining about the shitty man in your life? Use your psychopathy or your psychology to avoid these people. Why would I listen to you when you can't even monitor the people in your life? Sounds like I need to be doing the exact opposite of what you say. Brenda, you got this show. Every man you dated can't be shit. You done got 2 kids by 2 different men. And you gonna tell me about psychology? Seems like you need to monitor the people in your own life. Telling me.
Probably is. He divorced you, right?
No, I divorced him.
Oh, well, that actually makes more sense.
So look, if you want Andrew to respect the boundaries, you can't be slinging.
But
these
here's the
attacks at
thing,
him.
Brian. He didn't give me boundaries. He didn't give me.
What's
I
his
gave him
comment?
boundaries. He did
Has
not
he-
say you can't do this. You
You
can't do
said
that.
you're responsible for my
Listen.
emotional health.
We can put the no button in the middle, and you can use it too if you would
Okay.
like. Do you need
Yes, put it
boundaries
there.
too and consent?
Yes, put
Do
it
you need
there.
a safe word? It's no.
Put it there. So here's the boundary.
Now you feel safe.
You
You
ready?
can say no whenever you want.
Okay. When I hit the no, that means stop talking.
Okay.
Okay.
Agreed. Okay.
Do you think you can do that?
Can I show my ass on camera every time you say no?
No.
No, we're
Why?
gonna pass on that.
Because that would violate the terms of service.
What's the terms of service that I
That you
can't
can't show
ass?
your ass on camera?
I never signed anything that said I couldn't.
So you're going to
We're
break
on
the
YouTube.
TOS?
What's the TOS?
Nick, just intro if you
Terms
have
of
to.
service.
What is it?
It means
We're on YouTube
yeah.
and Twitch. You can't show.
You guys, I'm old. I don't know what these things are.
You know what YouTube is?
I don't know the
Stop
rules.
lying through
Do
your
I
teeth.
seem like I follow rules?
Okay, but would you?
It's you don't seem like you're even rational or coherent.
Right.
Let alone
I'm
following
not
rules.
rational to mainstream society. I'm
Okay,
not.
so
I'm a
let's-
divergent.
Okay, so-
Obviously.
You can be divergent and be rational.
No, not
Yeah.
necessarily. No,
Yes.
not these days. No, you can't.
Yes, you
no,
can.
you literally can't.
Yeah, you literally
Do you like
Do you
Trump?
literally
Are
know
you
what the word
supporting
literally
Trump?
means?
Are
Because
you
it literally doesn't mean what you
Are
literally
you
think.
supporting Trump? I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
Look at you. Of
course.
Okay, look at. There's an area, our Venn diagram intersects.
So what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Let's say,
Okay.
let's just pretend
Okay.
Trump was my dad.
Uh-huh.
Let's just pretend.
Yeah.
Would you give me a little more respect?
No.
None?
No. I would treat you exactly how you treat you. I usually match people's energy. So if they're being lunatic assholes, then I'm a lunatic asshole.
Same.
Yeah.
High five.
No,
And
you.
We're not gonna-
So just so you know, yeah, I don't want to touch you. Don't want to touch you. But here's the thing, right? No, don't do it. Don't touch me. Don't.
Shout out to Brian from the Whatever Podcast, and shout out to Andrew Wilson from the Crucible, because you'll find when you having these conversations and you trying to rationalize with somebody who's clearly unrational, it's a very hard thing to do. So shout out to Andrew Wilson. I thought he did a pretty good job. That lady was by far the most emotionally manipulative in the room. Basically, what she was trying to do was set a tone so that everybody would have to pander to her emotions in order to have a conversation with her. Because if anybody criticizes or goes against what she believes to be her rightful opinion, then they must be attacking her personally. This is the same type of person that when they do something stupid and you point out what you just did was stupid, they'll go, I'm not stupid. No, I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm saying what you did was stupid. So yeah, these are very hard. That's a very hard type of archetype of person to deal with and to have a conversation with. Yeah, and as far as a relationship, it's damn near impossible because they're not going to be able to receive criticism. It's not surprising to me that she might have had a hard time in her first marriage because she assumes that any type of criticism is a personal attack on her. And she assumes because she is personally attacked by this person who just means harm to her, she can respond however she wants and it's just justified. Those are always very dangerous people to be around. God bless her. Let me know in the comments below if this video was a W or a L, and give me the HBO special. That's a help brother out special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Till next time.